The place had no name anymore. It used to be a private retreat built into the hillside decades ago, before zoning laws, before permits, before anyone cared what the land wanted. The owner called it a lodge, but it felt more like something grown than built. The walls curved slightly inward, the floors sloped in ways that made your balance feel wrong, and no matter where you stood, you always felt watched from above. My job was simple: night security. No guests, no staff, just me and a radio. They told me not to explore, not to follow sounds. I agreed because I needed the paycheck. The first week, nothing happened. Fog rolled in every night, thick enough to swallow the parking lot, but that was normal for Asheville. On the 8th night, the radio turned on by itself. There was no static, no interference, just breathing. Slow, careful, as if whoever was on the other end was afraid of being heard. I spoke into the radio and asked who was there. The breathing stopped. Then the radio clicked off. I checked the battery. It was removed. After that night, the lodge changed. Doors that were locked felt heavier, like they resisted being opened. The air grew colder after midnight, and sometimes I smelled damp soil in the hallways. Not mold, not rot, fresh earth. One night, while walking the east corridor, I heard footsteps above me. The building had only 2 floors, and I was on the second. The footsteps were slow, each step placed with care. They did not creak the wood, they pressed into it. I stood still, counting the seconds between each step. Whoever it was moved like they were learning how to walk. The footsteps stopped directly above me. Then something scraped across the ceiling, a long, dragging sound, wet, deliberate. I ran to the stairwell and shouted. No response. When I went back, the ceiling was clean. No marks, no damage, but the smell of soil was stronger. I started sleeping in my car during breaks. On the 12th night, the fog never lifted. It wrapped the lodge so tightly that even the security lights vanished. The world beyond the windows disappeared. The radio came on again. This time, a voice spoke. It used my name, not shouted, not whispered, said like a memory. I dropped the radio. My chest felt hollow. The voice continued without the radio. You walk above us, it said. You listen. I ran through the lodge, checking every room, every door. When I reached the service elevator at the rear, I froze. That elevator had been sealed, marked unsafe, disconnected for years. The doors were open. Inside, there was no car, no cables, just a square shaft descending into blackness. Cold air poured out, carrying the smell of earth and pine. From below, something shifted, not climbing, not falling, adjusting. I backed away. The doors slid shut on their own. That night, I dreamed of roots, thick ones, breaking through stone, wrapping around limbs. I woke with dirt under my nails. On the 15th night, the power failed. Emergency lights painted the halls red, shadows stretched too long, corners bent in ways they should not. The radio screamed with voices, not words, not language, a chorus of breathing. Then, silence. I heard movement beneath the floor from the direction of the old lower level. That area was carved directly into the mountain, used once as storage tunnels, then sealed when workers refused to go back inside. The door was open. It had not been open before. Cold air rolled out, so thick it felt salad. I stood there, longer than I should have, because something in me already knew. The tunnel walls were alive. Roots pushed through stone, veins pulsed beneath bark, and the floor was soft like it would give way. Something moved ahead of me. A shape unfolded from the dark. Too tall, too thin, its limbs bent backward at the joints, its skin pale like stripped wood. Its face looked almost human. Almost. It did not blink. "You stay where we can hear you," it said. "That means you belong." I turned to run. The tunnel shifted. The exit pulled farther away. Hands rose from the walls, from the floor, from places that should not have space. They were human hands, some old, some young, all coated in soil. They grabbed my legs, my waist, my arms. The ground split. I fell. The mountain closed above me. I woke, choking on fog. Morning light filtered through trees. Birds screamed overhead. I lay on a trail miles from the lodge, barefoot, covered in mud. My radio lay beside me, crushed flat. Authorities said I wandered off drunk, that the property I described had never existed. They showed me records, maps, satellite images. Nothing. But the locals avoided my eyes. One woman at a gas station told me quietly, "Some places do not want names. Some places listen for footsteps." I left Asheville 2 days later, but the mountains did not let me go. Sometimes at night, when fog creeps low, I hear breathing through my walls, slow, patient, waiting for me to walk lower. I did not move to Asheville because I loved the mountains. I moved there because I needed somewhere quiet enough to disappear. The kind of quiet where no one asks questions, where fog covers the roads in the morning, where strangers do not look at you twice. Asheville looks friendly during the day, colorful buildings, street music, coffee shops filled with people pretending they are not lonely. At night, the city pulls inward, lights dim, voices fade, and the mountains step closer. People say the Blue Ridge has its own weather, that fog appears without warning, that sound does not travel the same way it should. What they do not say out loud, what they avoid putting into words, is that the mountains listen. I learned that after I took a job guarding a closed property just outside the city.